I'm here with Chief Thomas O'Donohue and Assistant Chief Ted Martin of the Golden Valley Fire District. Thank you both for being with us.
Good morning.
And congratulations on winning IAFC's highest honor, the Motorola Ben Franklin Award for Valor. Tell me about the incident that you're being honored for.
Well, it was early morning, about 7:30 in the morning, and we were dispatched for a structure fire. Happened to be just about a mile from the fire station. So I left the office immediately and jumped in my vehicle. As soon as I left the office, I reported a large column of black smoke. So clearly knew that we had a working structure fire on our way there. I arrived in about 90 seconds or so from the time of dispatch, because a nice straight shot from the station. Pulled up and was immediately greeted by a couple of citizens who said that there's a woman inside that house.
Yeah.
I quickly put on my fire gear minus an SCBA. I didn't have a breathing apparatus in the fire chief's vehicle, and went to do what's called a 360 walk around the building check. And when I went around the back of the building, again, there was a citizen out there, a gentleman with a cane and an off-duty acting fire captain, and they were pointing that there was somebody inside the home. When I walked up to the window, I saw a neighbor in a pair of shorts, no less, holding a 92-year-old woman up close to a window. So I knew that we had to get in there quickly, reported immediately that we had an imminent rescue for incoming crews, and tried to make access through a door, but the flames were too intense. The home was, I don't know how long it took for it to get reported, but it was probably about 65% involved. I truly thought we were going to have body recovery when I was told that there was somebody in the home. Not being able to access the door and seeing there was so much smoke, I broke a window out so the two people that were inside the room could have more oxygen, and went around to another window around the other corner of the bedroom. Found a step ladder, put it up against the building, and then I instructed the people outside that we were going to be hopefully doing the rescue and putting people out head first out that window. So I dove in that window now and assisted moving the elderly woman from one side of that room that had even heavier smoke to what we call the Charlie side of the building.
Yeah.
And we began to try to lift her out. And not only was she nearly unconscious, the gentleman who was inside helping her and holding her up was being overcome by smoke, which was getting more dense as time went on.
Right.
So we gave a couple of tries, and then it was pretty apparent that time was running out rapidly. The situation was deteriorating. The bedroom door had, the flames were now coming through the door and crawling across the ceiling. The room was about to just completely catch on fire. So I told him, I said, this is our last chance to give a push. So I got down as low as I could, got my shoulder between her legs, and with the help of Mr. Robert Davies, the citizen who was in there, we successfully pushed her up about over a 5-foot windowsill, because it had pretty high windows in this mobile home. Head first out the window, where she was caught by the off-duty acting captain and the neighbor. They guided her to the ground. Then I helped Mr. Robert Davies out the window next, gave him a shove out, and then I stood on what was part of the bed there and dove out the window myself.
Wow, that's quite the story. Now, let me go back to something you said a little bit earlier about breaking a window. Correct me if I'm wrong, but usually you don't want to break a window in a fire to add oxygen to the fire. Was it difficult to make that critical call to break that window?
My opinion, it was the lesser of two evils. They needed oxygen. If they didn't have enough air to breathe, they would have gone down in moments. I felt, things progress rather rapidly in a situation like that.
Yeah.
And it was just instinctive that they needed more air, break the window,
yeah,
and get it to them, and then go in the other window.
Exactly. And Assistant Chief Martin, what was your assessment of the situation when you arrived?
Well, I obviously knew that there was an incident happening and occurring, so I too did my 360, and by the time I had arrived on the scene, the rescue was completed. The patient was being treated by medical personnel, and everybody was kind of gathering up. We still had the fire to put out, so my direction was to make sure that we had fire suppression going on
Right.
and getting the fire put out. So we still had a job to do.
And have you used this incident as a learning lesson for your firefighters?
Well, it's a pretty tough lesson. We try to teach people not to go inside unless you're properly prepared to go inside, which would include your full PPE and an SCBA. I don't happen to have one of those on my vehicle. We may change that in the future because we're a smaller fire district,
Yeah.
and we clearly have opportunities when it may be necessary to have that. So, as a learning lesson, we of course want to emphasize that you don't do things to put yourself in harm's way, but like Chief Martin will attest, that we risk a little to save a little, and it's the buzz. It's what we say in the fire service. We will risk a lot to save a lot.
Right.
And there was a need to risk a lot to be able to save her, and
you did. Yeah.
yep,
a lot.
she's living life. So
That's wonderful. And have you been able to speak to her or her family? You saved her life.
I
mean,
have. Yeah, she was
that's a
she
wonderful
was put
feeling.
into it was very nice. And the impact that you have on a family. Just before Christmas, they said this is the best Christmas gift we could have ever had. It really highlights that family and the lives are so important, and the house, our material ops, are just things.
Yeah.
So she was put into a drug-induced coma for several days, and when she came out, we were there.
Oh,
Had an
wow.
opportunity to talk to her with her, and then later on, she's living a nice, productive life with her daughter up in Nevada now. She's relocated. I got a nice letter from her, and I've talked to her on the phone. She's doing well.
We don't get a lot of good news these days, and this truly is a very inspiring and good story. Thank you both for being with us, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.